Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the critically acclaimed Pop the Trunk podcast, now Patreon exclusively sponsored Hall of Fame. Recency bias radio where no one is safe from criticism. With me, of course, is your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smid Dog Trail, the Rant God, Hotep Thanos, Metro Kaiba, the Pro-Black Prodigy, Morpheus of the Matrix, all of the above on that ISAT test, and ACT. You know what it is. Here to bring you all another Patreon exclusive rant. I'm right back at you. We going back to back like Drake versus Meek Mill, coach. And in this rant, entitled Davon's Demise, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break down how Davon has 100% proved that everything I have said about her was completely true. How Hotep Thanos has always been on the right side of history, and why I tried to warn you all how dangerous it is to just reward someone for just being a black woman and existing. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's provide evidence to back up what I'm going to say here. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, a quick disclaimer. What you're about to hear is very incendiary. It's very disrespectful, and quite frankly, I think a lot of people were under her genjutsu to believe this would never come out of her mouth, ladies and gentlemen. But without further ado, let us begin.
I don't even think I have the words for it. You know, tonight history was made because there's never been an African American, America's favorite player. And so to even be in the top two and next to Tyler, I was just like, oh my gosh. And then when Julie said my name,
you know you shouldn't have won that AFP. Let's keep it funky.
Stage. Like, God is so good. I'm grateful to everybody that voted. Oh my God, I don't even have words. I'm just grateful.
If you think 1 million people voted for you to win AFP, you're high, Davon.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be ENZO. That's who I thought it was, you know, because everyone loves ENZO and he's always cracking these jokes and he's Mr. Funny Man. And so I thought it was going to be ENZO or Tyler, one of those two. And so
she even expected it to be a white man.
I was like, oh my God. I'm so grateful, so grateful. But Ian and Danny always said it was going to be me. But I just, you know, because it never happened before. How did Ian and Danny know it was going to be you? But God is good. Again, I don't even know yet. I have a child. She has to go to college. We contributing to that. Like, I don't even know. I can't even, I don't know. I have no idea. I definitely want to make sure that I do donate though, you know, because I am a huge advocate for, you know, Black Lives Matter. And so there are a lot of families who have lost their children and loved ones to, you know, unjustly and unfairly. And I want to make sure that I can give back to them. Of course, it'll never bring back the person that they lost, but, you know, just something to say, you know, I'm sorry and I'm here and I support you and I stand with you. Just something.
Tippin said you got to do a video. Oh, I'm doing one right now, coach.
The vibe was all over the place this time. Last time it was very intense because, you know, me and Paul.
Let me send him a message letting him know.
So it was really intense, but this time it wasn't like that. And then, you know, I had Danny, I had Ian. Unfortunately, you know, Kevin and I are not friends anymore. David and I are not friends, but, you know, it was cool. I enjoyed it. This time I was able to kick up my feet because I was relieved. I had no regrets about the game. I wasn't like, oh, if I could go back and do this. I wasn't stuck in the game. Like, I was done. I was doing the countdown to get home to my kid. Like, so that's where I was. I was at peace.
At peace, huh?
Kevin apparently, I don't know, has some issue with me. And then David, he blames me for everything that went wrong with his game. So I can't beg anybody for forgiveness. I just have to say, okay, and all right. Definitely Danny. Danny was very adamant about letting us know that Cody was playing a very good game and why he deserved to win. And I had already felt he was playing a good game, but I just wanted to keep my eyes open for other people. Like, I wanted ENZO to win so much, you know what I'm saying? Because again, I didn't want him to get ENZO this season. And so I just was like, if he can cut Cody, this game is his. But it didn't come down to it. And so I had to, you know, respect Cody for what he was doing. His resume was A1.
I'm still listening, y'all. I just want to make sure y'all hear this.
So. And it's unfortunate because you do want to vote for Enzo, but at the same time, and then his speech was all over the place. Like, Enzo was all over the place. Enzo is Enzo, you know, and you love him because he is who he is. But Cody made sure, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. And this time, you know, certain things he didn't say in his speech against Derek, he made sure to say it this time. So, you know, you got to give it to him. I didn't know what he was going to do. I knew it would be a smarter decision to cut her, because if he cut her,
I can't listen to this
then,
no more.
You know,
all right, it's time
a
to
lot of
send
people
this
in the
bitch to
jury
the
were
shadow
saying
realm.
that if she made it to the
No
end, she
disrespect
deserved to win.
intended, but
so he wouldn't have
I just
won
can't
by,
listen to
you know,
lies
so
anymore,
I still
y'all.
think
I can't listen to it no more. Hey, man, I got to go off now. Okay, number one. I tried to tell y'all, right? This chick has mental illness. Number one. Number two, she lacks accountability. And isn't it interesting? As soon as she gets thrown $50K, all of a sudden she wants to donate to Black Lives Matter causes. David was prepared to donate before he won AFP, showing you how sincere David was in his mission compared to Davon, who basically stole his mission from him. That's number one. And this vote was rigged for anyway. Number two, Kevin doesn't rock with you anymore, Davon. Kevin, the main guy who dealt with the most self-hate, the guy you told wasn't black enough because he wasn't dark-skinned enough. You know, based off the way this season has ended, Kevin is more black than you ever were, Davon. Black is a mentality. Black is a mindset. Black isn't about how you look. Davon is so focused on materialistic bullshit. She's so focused on how white people perceive her that their idea of blackness is her idea of blackness now. If you really listen to her, everything about her is a stereotype. Everything about her was manufactured in a lab somewhere. Everything about her is fake. Everything about her is flawed. This is why this is Davon's demise, ladies and gentlemen, because this chick is exposed. Exposed. Like, real talk, you mean to tell me you do all of these speeches talking about how black trans lives matter and you don't give a fuck about two black men in the same house as you? See what I said? See why her speeches was never about black men? She never cares about black men. Okay? She just acts like she cares about black men to make sure black men vote for her as well. This entire season, she came into this thing defeated, y'all. She didn't think she had a chance. She came into this season just to win AFP. Everything she did, from making sure Bailey couldn't make jury so Bailey couldn't cut into her AFP vote, from making sure Bailey was dependent on her by getting rid of all of the people Bailey could rely on outside of her. Okay? And this is another thing I want to bring up. This is another valuable point to show you how full of shit this chick is and how dangerous her lack of accountability is in this community. David blames her for his game being ruined and Day doesn't get it. I'm not gonna beg for his forgiveness or nothing. But remember when she assumed David did that hinky vote which led to Ian being evicted? She called him an Uncle Tom under the premise that she assumed he ruined her game. Remember? So she thought she deserves an apology for something she didn't do to him then, but now when she does something incendiary and unforgivable towards him now, and he ain't no simp that just gives her a pass for it like a pussy, instead, David, he let his balls drop and said, fuck you. That's the truth. Now all of a sudden she trying to change the narrative. I see people under this same damn chat right now talking about, oh, David. Like, hold on. I can go and look at this real quick just to show you all how dumb her fan base is. Give me a second. This is how clueless these people are. These people don't understand the game. They're just as emotional as Davon is. Okay? She says, hold up. She said, one of them says, what is Kevin mad about? She went against the entire house to save you. Huh? What? She didn't go against the entire house to save him. She did the one move she had to do to save herself. And she still got evicted before him because the people she trusted didn't really trust her. But she's still cool with them and not cool with Kevin. Shut your dumb ass up. Let's go to another dumb commenter. David cannot be blaming Dave for his shitty game. Oh, but Davon could blame David for her shitty game. See this, ladies and gentlemen? This is the double standard I told you about. How black men are treated like dog shit. How context does not matter if we play bad, but if a black woman plays bad, they mention a whole bunch of shit that has nothing to do with gameplay itself. Because they're looking for an excuse to hide from the truth. And that's the truth. I don't know if the screen is too bright, but I see this glare on my damn glasses. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit. But ladies and gentlemen, this is how clueless her entire fan base is. Then they say Kevin really disrespecting Davon. That girl has sacrificed her gay to save him. What did Kevin do to disrespect her? If two friends fall out, how is that one disrespecting the other? What I think happened is, I think Kevin took Danny to task for the bullshit she was part of. I think Davon defended Danny. I think the rumor that was out in the streets talking about how Davon, Kevin, and David were all mad at Danny clearly was a lie, because David and Kevin don't rock with Davon. So I think it was Davon and Danny over here, and I think it was Kevin and David over here. Who would have thought? The guy that everyone claimed was a coon coming out of 21, and the self-hate, half-black, half-Japanese gay black man in Kevin, who would have thought these two would be on code longer than the black woman? I told you all she sold herself. She pimped herself out for that $50K. She pimped herself out. She allowed production to do whatever they wanted with her likeness. She allowed them to edit her whichever way they felt necessary. And in exchange, they rigged an AFP vote to her. So now the people watching this show think this show is turned some type of corner. When in reality, we're in a worse position right now than we were before Allstars started. But these Davon stans are so fucking stupid. They're so damn clueless. They do not understand how the world works. All they care about is their bubble and living vicariously through a black woman that could give a fuck about black people that they worship. That's what's going on right now, ladies and gentlemen. This comment section is AIDS. I'm gotta keep it all the way funky with y'all. Like, seriously. I mean, David blaming anyone but himself is foolish, much like his BB game. You see what I'm saying? So everyone wants to play the accountability game with David, the guy who only played one day before this season. But then when it comes to the accountability game for Davon, it is non-existent. This is a damn shame. And this is why our community is never going to make any progress. As long as people like this exist, that is okay with nothing burgers, that run around and act like, oh, the season's great now because Davon got thrown some welfare. These people should be ashamed of themselves. I'm looking at all of these different people comment beneath it. And then, look at this. David can be friends with the racist twins from his season, but what they did was too much for him? I wonder how he feels about Memphis. Probably going to take him out to dinner, clown. See what I'm saying? I can use that same perspective on you, dumbass. Davon is literally going to kiss Nicole and Danny's ass, who convinced her to call David and Uncle Tom. She won't even apologize to him. And see, that's probably why we haven't seen it been aired yet, because it didn't happen. She thinks she's so important. She thinks she's so viral. She thinks she's that new hot shit. And she thinks she's above David, so she doesn't have to stoop down to his level and be humble about shit. But look at how her fans take it. Her fans are awestrucken. They're on a power trip right now. And they actually believe their vote won her this. That's the funniest part. Y'all votes did not win this for her. It was rigged, you idiot. The same show that they are willing to call rigged any other time, it can't be rigged this time because a black person got something. Are you a dumbass? That's when it's rigged the most. Because there's not enough of us caring about this show to make sure she wins it. Are you an idiot? These people are straight plebeians. Seriously. These people's IQ level is in the dirt. Their frequency level is below average reading level. It is terrible right now what is going on right now in this community. And then you got people saying petition to have Davon host the jury roundtable. For what? Like, now people are trying to get her more ways to make money when she don't need it. But enough talking about these commenters. We know Davon's fans are irrational. We know they're a bunch of dumb fucks. We know they don't understand the game, clearly because they think she's a good player. And we also know none of these people can debate me on why Davon is any good at the game. None of these people can explain why she deserved AFP. Ladies and gentlemen, I got people so butthurt over the rant I did last night, the finale rant. Someone copied and pasted an argument about why Donald Trump is racist. Ladies and gentlemen, what in that rant last night had to do with Donald Trump? See, that lets me know that that's someone who jumped on my Patreon that I blocked, and now they're creating alt accounts and just trying to bombard me with information about Trump, assuming my rants are about Trump. See, this shows me that a lot of people comment before they listen. A lot of YouTubers are this way. The majority of your haters will comment before they listen. The majority of your fans will listen first. That way they can establish dialogue with their comment. This is one of the most toxic situations I think I have ever seen in my entire life. Of being on this earth for 29 years, I have never seen something this toxic. Tamar worked for her victory. She earned that. Davon didn't earn shit. This is a spit in the face of Tamar's legacy. Now I understand why Davon went out of her way in her final speech to say, I used to think no one black could win this game, but now I do. It's because she made a deal with the devil right then and there for the 50K. If she spent this entire season not trying to win, but trying to pitch herself for AFP, then she spent this entire season not trying to win. So her telling us in her speech that she believes it's possible for a black person to win after she sabotaged 3 other black people's games, that is one of the most insincere speeches of all time. But that is the speech people use to prove why she deserved AFP in the first place. Further showing these people are absolutely stupid. Luckily for y'all, y'all got recency bias radio in this community to hold people accountable and keep balance for civilization. Of course, this won't be public because they'll try to copyright strike me for providing the proof of how stupid Davon is with that video. But at the end of the day, coach, there's no way around this right now. Tyler was more deserving of that AFP. I stand by that shit, even now more so than last night. He deserves it more than Davon. David deserved it more than Davon. You know? To be honest, Kevin at this point deserved it more than Davon. But what do all these people have in common? They're not a black woman acting like a victim 24/7. So they didn't get rewarded. They're not a black woman pushing negative stereotypes, which is holding our women back subconsciously, but they don't realize it. So they didn't get rewarded with 50K. They're not the ones calling a black man an Uncle Tom out of frustration because they can't compute that the same white woman would play them again. And that's why they didn't get rewarded with 50K. You know, I really don't understand why Davon is so mad at Nicole on finale night if she was just going to hate on Kevin and David so much in the jury house. It makes absolutely no sense. In fact, it looks like Davon is closer to Tyler than she is to Kevin and David. That in itself shows you this chick's true colors. So I hate to tell you that I was right, ladies and gentlemen, but whenever I say something, it's not because I have a personal grudge with someone. It's because I see what's coming down the pike. I promise you, I'm not a time traveler. I promise you, I'm just someone who is really good at reading body language. And I know psychology really well. I took 2 courses in college. I know behavioral patterns, ladies and gentlemen. I know nonverbal communication, ladies and gentlemen. And I know that Davon right now is a sellout. I know Davon is on the trajectory to be another damn Kimmy. Do not be surprised she ends up with a white man. And don't be surprised if you see a whole bunch of black women acting like she's a queen for being with a white man. The same people who acted like David wasn't shit for flirting with Cat Dunn. We're going to see it. We're going to see it. But pay close attention to all the people who are still Slavon fans. Those are the biggest coons in our Big Brother sub community, and those are the motherfuckers who need to be purged, because those are the double agents, when it's all said and done, will sell us out for a gay movement, sell us out for some trinkets over here, sell us out for that over there. They do not understand what being on code is, because they are blindly on code based off of pre-existing biases, based off of someone's gender. Everything's based off gender here. And that's why last night I went out of my way to say these people aren't pro-black, they're pro-black woman. There's a difference. The same way you can't be pro-black and be pro-LGBT. Your allegiance is cut in half. You don't want to admit it is, but let's be real here. You have pepperoni, have sausage pizza. Instead of making the whole pizza all pepperoni and all sausage, you decided to cut it down the middle because you know the people who run that gay shit, you know that they are very anti-black in their mission statements. The majority of white LGBT members are some of the most racist on this earth. But I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm just here to tell you all that Davon has been completely exposed at this point. Shout outs to the Patreons. Shout outs to Bad Gal Vivi. If it wasn't for her notifying me, this video probably doesn't exist because I don't post it to Patreon and then people don't want the video itself. But look, I would love to tell y'all I'm shocked by this, but I'm not. In fact, the only thing I'm shocked about is that Davon would say something so stupid so quickly. That's what I'm shocked about. I mean, this chick wouldn't even let it be 24 hours after the check cleared for her to start talking dumb shit. You know? And she won't really expound on why Kevin don't rock with her, because then she would have to admit she did something wrong. So instead, she leads her community into believing Kevin is just someone who betrayed her. As if Kevin owes you a life worth of loyalty because you used one veto on him. The fuck? You were the one who got Kevin to trust the people he trusted that still screwed him over like they screwed your ass over. The fuck? Kevin owes you nothing. In fact, you owe Kevin because Kevin was on code and you were off code. You let Danny control that entire fucking jury house, just straight up slobbing Cody down 24/7. Slob on my knob like corn on the cob. Check in with me and do your job. Like real talk. She speaks more highly of Danny in that video than she speaks of anyone black. Oh, Danny was the one who told us about Cody's game. We're so... Davon, you should have known about Cody's game too. Weren't you in like 3 alliances with that motherfucker? Wasn't Danny included in 2 of those 3 alliances you were in with that motherfucker? So why the hell do you need Danny to explain Cody's game to you in the first place? That tells us you still cool with her because you went out of your way to give her a compliment when you didn't have to. You went out of your way to shit on Kevin and David when you didn't have to, showing us how much you're mad at them. And kudos to them for still not rocking with you after you won that AFP. This makes me want to go back and watch the finale now to see their reaction to her getting AFP now. I want to see a lot of things now. I want to go back and look at these jury portions now. A lot of things are on my mind now that I have this information. But one thing is for sure, this season is the gift that keeps on giving because the fan base are completely broken. They are buck broken. Everyone who voted for Davon is buck broken. They have no honor. They have no allegiancy. They have no logic behind what they do. Everything is just symbolic, minor moral victories. Moral victories is for minor league coaches, though. Hotep Thanos on Recency Bias Radio, we the major leagues. And that's why all of these soy boys and all these little weak-ass channels trying to defend Davon, this is why they don't get the views I get. Because people can clearly tell those people are pandering and placating, just like production did with this AFP vote in itself. So ladies and gentlemen, please comment below. And of course, like this video. And give me your thoughts on this. I feel like Davon is completely full of shit, but we already knew that. But for her to do what she did and say what she just said, one day removed from Bailey saying the Slick Six shouldn't exist, and she said, "You right about that, girl." Then she goes and dick rides Danny all over again. Huh? Danny was the main arbiter of doom for Bailey's game because Danny and Nicole had control over Christmas, Target, and Bailey when all 5 women should have been working together anyway. But once again, Davon speaks highly of Danny, acts like her and Bailey still cool. If I'm Bailey, I don't fuck with you ever again. Not because Bailey's close with Kevin, because she ain't. Not because Bailey is super close with David, because she ain't. But because, bitch, you don't even know who you are. Just like Kamala Harris, you are a fucking chameleon. And a moment's notice, you change who you are to fit the scene, the scenario. But it seems like in the game, you aren't logical enough to do that, to pivot, to make good moves. But outside the game, you'll do that shit in a heartbeat to just get an extra dollar. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I laugh at people who act like spending $5 a month for my Patreon is breaking their backs. Motherfuckers just rewarded Davon with $50K for cooning, and they got smiles on their face for it. It's astonishing. And this is why we all need a break from this shit. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been my thoughts on Davon and her demise. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to like and comment below. I'm out. Until next time.